You know, one of the cool things about working on Motoring TV is that we get to look back at over 30 years of the evolution of the automobile. Hard to believe that back then we thought these cars were pretty cool, but hey, like the rest of us, they do age and tend to look older. And of course, that's what's going to happen to today's vehicles, including this gem. That's the brand new, out-of-the-box 2019 Volkswagen Jetta. And while we're talking about the past, let's join the young Graham with a peek at the third-generation Jetta. The year was 1994.
This week on Test Drive, we look at the 1994 Volkswagen Jetta. Now, in the past, the Jetta has accounted for almost half of all of Volkswagen's sales, but because the old car had reached the end of its useful life, it had begun to lose market share. That makes this particular car a very important car for Volkswagen if they're to regain that lost market share.
Well, that car was the spark that turned things around for the Jetta. In fact, until a couple of years ago, the Jetta was Volkswagen's #1 selling car. Right now in Canada, it sits just behind the Golf. But remember, we haven't seen a new Jetta in almost 8 years. So Volkswagen is thinking this new generation could be #1 once again.
It's almost impossible to overstate how important the Jetta is to Volkswagen Canada. We've had this car in our lineup for 38 years now. We've sold over 600,000 of these things in Canada. There's over 200,000 of them still being driven on Canadian roads. We've got a lot of Jetta fans out there that have been chomping at the bit for this new car, and I am delighted that we are finally able to present it. It's new from stem to stern. We've dropped it on our new MQB platform, the same one that you drove when we had the Golf launch and we introduced such a revolutionary product. Well, now with Jetta, being on this new platform allows us to incorporate so much more technology. It really is the Jetta of the 21st century. One engine in this car. It's a 1.4-liter turbocharged engine, very powerful, 184 foot-pounds of torque, so you're not going to have any problems getting out of your own way with this car, but also very thrifty. It's going to return you great fuel economy. We've got really nice advancements in the engine to not just enhance the efficiency, but to make the durability even better than what you've come to expect.
There's a trend, obviously, towards SUVs. But still 30% of the market are sedans, and those 30% will not go away. So it's obviously important to have a product for those customers who prefer a sedan versus an SUV, because the driving performance and the driving behavior is different than being in an SUV.
Well, the sedan is only dying in North America. In other parts of the world, it's doing very nicely, thank you very much. So, I mean, the thought of them actually cancelling the sedan or getting out of the sedan market altogether is preposterous. With this vehicle, I think it will do very nicely. I like the styling. It is now the quietest of the sort of affordable four-door sedans in the market. It is like a Lexus when you're cruising down the highway. They've cleaned up the interior. It used to be a hodgepodge of, well, pretty nasty materials. Now they've got some good soft touch materials. They've kept the dash nice and low. The A-pillars are nice and slim, so the forward visibility is very good. Standard backup camera takes care of that chore. So they've put a lot of thought into it.
In some of the advertising Volkswagen are using for this new Jetta, they suggest that when it comes to safety, this car is not middle of the road. Well, I'd take issue with that statement, because while it's true they've got crumple zones front and rear, they've reinforced the side of the car for side impacts, they've missed the boat on two key elements on the base model. There's no airbags and there's no anti-lock brakes. They are available as options on the GL, as our tester is. However, the cost of that package is $5,300. Add that to the GL car and you're looking at a vehicle that's over $22,000. Now that, for a car in this segment, is far too much money, and they're going to lose a lot of sales because of that price.
Well, you heard Graham right, over $5,000 for an airbag and anti-lock brakes. Well, things have changed, and for the better.
They certainly have. Today, I can't even count the number of airbags in our car and anti-lock brakes. I can't remember the last car that didn't have it. It's nice to see the safety of our cars, the safety of all cars has gotten better and better, and that speaks very well to the consumer.
That whole Dieselgate thing, I actually find it kind of fascinating, primarily because when all of that caca hit the fan, you were expecting to see Volkswagen curl up into the fetal position and maybe even run away. They didn't. And in fact, sales went up. And it was like, hold on a second, they're in the middle of one of the largest scandals to hit any car company. I mean, it was a monumental mistake. They are making up, or they're atoning for their sin, but it really didn't have as big an impact as I thought it was going to have.
Volkswagen is such a strong brand. We are on a great streak, and you know, for sure Volkswagen will come to new records in the near future, and I'm looking forward to have more Volkswagen fans, you know, in Canada.
Well, that's it for this week's test drive. I think it's safe to say that this edition of the Jetta is vastly superior to the one it replaces. However, I remain convinced that the lack of airbags and anti-lock brakes on the base model is going to hurt their sales.
Well, almost 25 years ago, Graham gave a thumbs up to the third generation Jetta, and in just a few weeks, he'll be getting behind the wheel of the new one on test drive. As for me, we've only had a few hours behind the wheel. Nice drive, and I think it's a better looking Jetta. As far as Volkswagen is concerned, they think there are a lot of customers out there that are just chomping at the bit to get down to the showroom and get their hands on one. Well, my only advice to you, to quote one of my favorite commercials, start the car. I just break myself up.
Hi. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And if you watch this on Facebook, like, follow, and share us. And we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.